Hello students, welcome to today's English class. I am Roopna Ravindran, Assistant Professor of English, Government Degree College, Chevalla in Rangareddy district of Telangana state. Today we are going to discuss the part 2 of soft skills topic. So this topic is part of your general English textbook, English Made Easy, prescribed by Osmania University for first year, first sem, BA, BCom and BSc students. So already we have discussed about soft skills and hard skills in the last video. I hope you have watched the video and watch this video only after watching the previous one. So what are hard skills? We have already discussed that hard skills are certain technical skills that we gain during our education or training. For example, the subjects that you learn and the practical experience that you gain through your practicals are all technical skills. The MS Office that you learn, the computer skills that you gain, the tally that you learn, the arithmetic and reasoning skills that you learn, so the mathematical ability, everything are related to technical skills. Then what are soft skills? Soft skills are your personality traits or your way of behavior that makes you unique from other persons. We have discussed about different soft skills in general. For example, we have skills like team management, time management, communication skills, and in that you have non-verbal and verbal communication. Then you have motivation and goal setting, you have self-confidence, you have various soft skills. So among these different soft skills, in the last video we have discussed about interpersonal skills and non-verbal communication skills in particular. So after that, in this video we are going to discuss about motivation and goal setting, and in this I am particularly talking about self-motivation. And then we have the next topic, that is self-confidence. So what is motivation? So motivation is what pushes us to achieve our goals, feel more fulfilled and improve our overall quality of life. So it is one force that pushes us forward to achieve our goals and to make us fulfill things and improve our quality of life. So motivation plays an important role in our life. Understanding and developing our self-motivation can help us to control many aspects in our life. So there are different kinds of motivation, that is internal and external motivation. It is also called intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. So external motivation comes from external sources. So it can be from your teacher, it can be from your friend, it can be from your parent, it can be from anybody, any well-wisher. So they motivate you with their words, their experience. So they become an inspiration for you to work on further. So this kind of motivation is called extrinsic motivation or external motivation. So you can feel motivated internally only when you have a burning desire to achieve more. So that kind of motivation that takes birth in yourself is called internal motivation or intrinsic motivation. So motivational skill is very important for people to get into the front, to achieve something and to do a task effectively on scheduled time. So, Daniel Goleman, the author of several seminal books on emotional intelligence, identified 4 elements that make up motivation. What are those 4 elements? First one is a personal drive to achieve. You need to have a personal desire to improve or to meet certain standards. Then you need to be committed. You need to have commitment towards personal or organizational goals. Then you need to take initiative, which he defined as readiness to act on opportunities. Then you have optimism, that is the ability to keep going and pursue goals in the face of setbacks. So you need to have a personal urge to improve. Then you should be committed towards your goal. Then you need to take initiative, and you need to have positive attitude, that is you need to be optimistic. To improve self motivation, it is therefore helpful to understand more about this individual elements. You need to work on these 4 individual elements to improve your self motivation. Motivation makes people want to do something. For a college student, motivation can be a wish to study well and get a good job. So it can either be self motivation or motivation from others like parents, teachers, and well wishers. So for a person who is working in a team, he need to apply certain skills. For example, he need to give recognition to the team achievement. If he is a leader, then he has to give respect and motivate people to give the best. He need to extend help to others. Then as a team leader, he need to provide opportunity for others to grow. So motivation actually means encouragement. So it helps people to move further in their job or in their studies. So this motivation is related to your everyday work or everyday studies. So by motivating an individual externally, he or she will be encouraged to work and bring more prospects and revenues to the company. So from a professional perspective, motivation can be given in the form of bonus, etc. So it may not be monetary, it can be some valuable gift also. So that is how teachers motivate you. They give you gift for the person who comes first in the exam. They give you prizes. Okay, so every individual has a different way of being motivated. They are not just about how good you can motivate others, but we have to learn how good we can motivate ourselves, that is self motivation. And so in order to have motivation, there definitely need to be certain challenges also. Now why do we need to motivate? Because there will be boredom. If there is nothing challenging or nothing interesting to do, there will be boredom. So this motivation reduces boredom. It brings new prospects into your life. So it gives you satisfaction, it gives you mental peace in your life. Then motivation also helps us to achieve our goals faster. So how do we motivate you? We can give positive feedback. Okay, so even among your group, even among your friends group, you can give others positive feedback about their work, about their assignment and all. So you can give them opportunities. And then you can have a comfortable atmosphere to study, and you can help your peers also. So you can help them participate in other extracurricular activities, and you can motivate them to work hard in their life. So motivation is related to goal setting. Motivation is related to goal setting. Goal setting is very much important to succeed in academic life. You need to have certain goals in life. So every new semester when you come, you have different goals about your future. So think about that seriously. So when we talk about goals, there are two types of goals. That is, one is short term goal and the other one is a long term goal. So short term goal may be getting first in your examination, and your long term goal may be doing research in a particular subject, doing PhD in a particular subject. So long term goal is a little far from where you stand, and short term goal is very much near for you. So you need to be very clear about what you need to achieve, and you need to set target based on your individual skills and capabilities. You can write the goals so that that writing keeps you reminded always, and it motivates you. So you can also discuss your goals with others so that they can also add in their opinions, and they can also motivate you, they can also inspire you. And you have to find out different methods to achieve the goals, and you need to work hard managing time efficiently. Now there are certain elements of self motivation. First one is a personal drive to achieve. We have already discussed about this personal drive to achieve. Now in that actually there are two types of mindsets, that is a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. The people with fixed mindset believe that their talent is ingrained and they cannot change their level of ability, but those with a growth mindset are always positive, and they think that they can improve their skills through hard work and effort. So research shows that those who believe that they can improve, that is those people who have growth mindset, can achieve things faster in their life. So it is important for us to have a growth mindset in life. And then we discussed about commitment towards achieving something. So there is considerable evidence that goal setting is important even for our general well-being. Only if we have specific goals, we'll devote all our time towards that. If we don't put the goal in writing, then we may tend to waste time. You have to be optimistic in life, you have to see the bright side, and you have to be positive in life. And so even if you have setbacks in life, you have to be resilient. Resilient people usually have an ability to manage their negative emotions. You have to be positive, and then you have to be resilient, and then work towards your goal. You have to be self motivated. We have already talked about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So intrinsic motivation is actually an motivation, a kind of motivation that is coming from your inside, and the challenge is also from your inside. But extrinsic motivation is something that is coming from outsiders, from different people. If you want to have an example, John is a person who works and feeds his family. He also studies part-time. Okay, so in order to have satisfaction in his studies, he stays late night and then studies. So this kind of motivation is intrinsic. So it is from his inside that he gets the motivation that he needs to study a lot. Then another student is Sam. So his parents always reminds him to work hard. So the kind of motivation is extrinsic. Okay, so he has a kind of obligation. For him, the motivation is a kind of duty towards doing something right and being respectful to the family. Okay, so there are 5 ways to help you think about your own self motivation. So as far as your students, your teachers, your parents, everyone will keep on motivating you, but once you surpass the stage, then you need to be self motivated. So what are those 5 points? The first one is take the time to think about what motivates you. You need to identify what can motivate you. So this is one of those things that is most easily said than done. By truly taking time to think about what intrinsically and extrinsically motivates us on an individual level, we can set ourselves up to maximize our motivation. So do you look forward to doing it? So this could be helpful in being analytical, in being solving a problem, using a creativity, etc. Then second point is you positively must stay positive. So you have to stay positive, and this positivity should come from your own mind. You need to be self-motivated to stay positive. Negativity has a far negative impact or outcome on your mind. So easiest way is to keep it in check. You have to keep it in control, and then you need to allow positivity to take over. So you have to focus only on positive. We are humans. Negativity tends to creep up in our mind, but we should be able to control these negative talk, self ditching, all these things we have to limit, and we have to pretend that we are positive, and we need to have self love and self confidence. Then we can move forward. What is the third point? So you need not compare yourself with others. You need to only compare yourself to yourself. For some, it is best to compete with themselves, but by setting a goal and charting individual progress towards the goal, it becomes easier for a person to have a comparison about oneself. So it is one great way to have attention towards progress. If you compare yourself with others, you feel overwhelmed, and sometimes you feel very awkward also. So this can have a reverse effect on you. So you should never compare yourself with others, but you should compare yourself to with yourself. You should not compare yourself with others. What is the fourth point? You have to verbalize and visualize your intentions. So you need to give wordings to what you plan to do or what you propose to achieve in future. So you have to write it down, or you have to talk to your friends, so that it becomes so solid. The intention becomes so clear and so solid. So telling someone our plan helps ensure that our intentions become a priority. So without sharing our intentions and goals with others, so it becomes easy for us to forget about that. So to picture to picturize ourselves accomplishing our goals, it is very much necessary to verbalize and also visualize our intentions. What is the fifth one? Fifth one is your surroundings matter. So we need to be in a positive environment. So surroundings certainly matter. If you do not have favorable surroundings, then your work becomes even more difficult. But then self motivation can help you achieve heights. So it is very much important not to underestimate the power of spending time with people who bring the best in us. So be in the company of people who are positive. And peer pressure is real. You need to have healthy competition in life. Now we'll move on to self-confidence. Self-confidence is an attitude about your skills and abilities. It is the attitude in yourself. You feel so proud about yourself, so good about yourself. It is a positive feeling. It means you accept and trust yourself and have a sense of control in your life. So you are very much aware of your strengths and weaknesses as well, and you have a positive view about yourself. So you have to set realistic expectations and realistic goals, and you have to communicate assertively, and you can handle criticism. So that is the situation when you are self-confident. So self-confidence is the belief in oneself and one's abilities. It is what we think about ourselves. If we have good conditions and good upbringing, then we may develop a healthy self-esteem and self-confidence. But people coming from challenging background may have difficulty to develop self-confidence. A low self-confidence might make you feel full of self-doubt, passive, submissive, having difficulty in trusting others. So people with low self-confidence may feel inferior, unloved, and sensitive to criticism. So if you are confident in yourself, then you might depend on the situation. It might depend upon the situation. You can feel very confident in some areas but lack confidence in others. So that can also happen. So having high or low self-confidence is not much related to the actual abilities. It is actually dependent on your perceptions. Perception means the way in which you look at things, the way in which you think about yourself, and sometimes your thoughts can be wrong. So low confidence might stem from different experiences, such as growing up in a critical environment, unsupportive environment, and so on. Now, how do we increase our self-confidence? We can recognize our and emphasize our strengths. We can reward and praise ourselves for our efforts and progresses. So that is one thing we can do on our own. So even if there is nobody to give confidence to us, we can recognize ourselves. When you stumble on an obstacle, treat yourself with kindness and compassion. Don't dwell on failure. So failures are the stepping stones of success. So everybody will have some or the other kind of failure, errors in life. So without that, we cannot learn anything in life. So treat yourself with kindness and move ahead in life. And in life, you have to set realistic and achievable goals. It is impossible for a human to be perfect in life. Life is full of imperfections. So do not expect perfection in life. Be contented, be satisfied with the imperfections, and work to achieve a better position. Slow down when you are feeling intense emotions and think logically about the situations. When you are in a stressful situation, take a break. You slow down and think about the situation, analyze critically, and then move on. So challenge making assumptions about yourself, people, and situations. Don't think too much. Don't think about too much about your situation, what people think, and all. So recognize that past negative experiences do not dictate your future. So past is already gone, and you have the future to prove yourself. So don't be stuck in your past. Express your feelings, beliefs and needs directly and respectfully. So consider yourself with respect. Be confident in life and learn to say no to unreasonable requests. Now these are the differences between confident behavior and behavior associated with low self-confidence. So, a person with confident behavior will be doing what you believe to be right, even if others mock or criticize you for it. So, they strongly believe in themselves. So, whatever they feel that is right, they will follow it. They will not be bothered about the criticisms. If a person has low self-confidence, then what he or she will do, he'll be governing behavior based on what other people think. What will other people say? What will other people think? So they will be more bothered about these things. Then second situation, being willing to take risk and to go the extra mile to achieve better things. So a confident person will be confident enough to take risk in life, and they will go an extra mile to achieve better things. But a low self-confidence person will be staying in a comfort zone. He or she will be very much afraid about failure, and they keep on avoiding risk. A confident person can admit their mistakes and they can learn from them. But a low self-confidence person will definitely cover up the mistake because they will not be able to fix the problem. Then a high confidence person, a self-confident person will be waiting for others to congratulate you on your accomplishment. But on the opposite situation, a low self-confidence person will be extolling their own virtues as possible to as many as possible. Self-confident person accepts compliment graciously, but low self-confident person dismisses compliments. Low self-confidence can be self-destructive and it may manifest itself as negativity. So if you are not confident, if you are not very sure about your abilities, then it may manifest a kind of negative feeling. Self-confident people are generally more positive. They value themselves and they trust their own judgment. They also acknowledge their failure and mistakes and learn from them. So that is all about self-confidence. Now let us move on to certain soft skills which are important for students. It is like a general discussion. So for students to stand out as promising assets in their professional organizations later on, they need to invest in sharpening certain soft skills. So what are the soft skills that will help them establish a successful professional career? So I have listed certain ways in which soft skills turn important for them to enjoy an edge over others. So these skills make them unique and have an edge over others. So these can be life-changing people skills for them. So what is the first thing that I am going to talk about? Students develop emotional intelligence. So it is important for students to develop emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is all about how amicable you can be with others, how friendly you can be with others. So with a high emotional intelligence quotient, you will be looked upon as an easy to work with student. So anybody can gel easily with you. So you will not look very closed, but you will be open for interaction, open for communication. Students, through sharpening the soft skills, can also become strong influencers in the lives of other students as well. So, they need to learn managing emotion. Students, when a student has a good emotional intelligence quotient score, then he or she will be able to cope up with this particular competitive world. They will be able to face even toughest circumstances with emotional intelligence. That is very much required in today's competitive world. And they will be able to adjust to people with different nature and temperament. Then they need to have better communication. If they have emotional quotient, they need to have better communication, in the sense a different kind of emotions and feelings, like anger, anxiety, fear, jealousy, sadness, and others. People exhibit these kinds of feelings, and one should know where to be emotional and where to not, especially when they are in a professional environment. So, emotional intelligence will help students to express their views without any hesitation. Then it also helps to build new relations in a better way. So, as a whole, it helps in the reduction of stress. It develops empathy towards others. So, people with high emotional intelligence are always positive. They can accept their setbacks, they can set their limits. So, they can even turn their weaknesses to strength. Okay, they avoid comparison with others. Now, what about the second point? So, already we have discussed the first point, that is students developed emotional intelligence. It is important for students like you to develop emotional intelligence. Second one is you need to nurture interpersonal relationships. So, already we have discussed about this interpersonal relationship. So, I am not going to say anything in detail. And so even in your classroom setting, you have interaction between students. So if you engage in open interaction with almost all the students in the class during your studies, definitely that kind of social behavior, that kind of mutual interactions will reflect later on in your professional environment also. Then you will not look very closed, but you will look very open to conversation and also criticism. For this, you need to learn appropriate way of greeting people, then how to initiate activities with other people. Do not be very passive accepting whatever other people are saying, but you need to be willing to initiate activities with others. You need to be willing to join any other people. Then you need to have an ability to continue a conversation. So all these are related, and all these are related to interpersonal skills. Then we have already talked about having a negotiation skill, being persuasive, and having the ability to resolve conflicts at a larger scale. Third point is having better understanding of classroom lectures. So this helps you in developing good listening skills. You become an active listener. So you are introduced to new things and subjects in your classroom lecture. So once you are attentive, once you are inquisitive towards the knowledge that is imparted to you, then it becomes a habit, and then wherever you go and listen, you develop a kind of keen listening skill, develop a kind of active listening skill. Fourth one is unveil the leadership qualities in students. So it is important to unveil the leadership qualities even in the student years. So through a certain soft skills training, students will be able to motivate themselves to come up to a certain leadership roles which can help them later in their professional world. If they are selected as a team leader of a team, then this kind of experience, working as a leader of a group in the class, can actually help them. Next is improvements in how students communicate. That is the fifth point. So you need to have a kind of self-confidence in you, and you need to develop communication skills. We have already talked about communication skills. You have to be mindful about the verbal communication and more importantly the non-verbal communication. Next one, time tested tools to ace in examination. So you have to be very mindful about time. You need to learn different time management techniques, and you need to have problem solving skills also, so that you can do well in your exams. Every competitive exam will definitely have analytical reasoning, quantitative ability, qualitative ability problems. So you have to have that skill to problem solve. Next one is goal setting and target achievement. So already we have talked about motivation and goal setting. You need to be self motivated, and you need to have a specific short term goal and also a long term goal. Unless and until you put this goal you are in writing or you articulate your goal, it will become a sheer daydream. So you have to work hard to fulfill your ambition. This goal setting. And the next point is unleash the hidden potential in students. So you may be aware of certain skills that you already have, but you need to find out certain exceptional skills that are hidden in you. This can be organizational skills. So this will come out only when you work in a team. Then people can identify certain skills that you demonstrate when you work in a group. Then a strong commitment towards student life. You need to be genuine in whatever that you are doing. You need to be committed towards your student life. So these kinds of soft skills keep you motivated to perform better in your academics. So be positive in your life, or be optimistic in your life. And what is the 10th point? You need a steady push to your presentation skills. So presentations are part and parcel of your student life. So you need to have strong oratory skills along with writing skills also. So you need to learn how to present on your interested topics in various subjects. You need to have both the abilities. You need to have a written you need to have a flair of good writing abilities and also oratory expressions. So these positive abilities will become pillars of support for you to settle down in a respectable position in future. So all in all, you need to master these soft skills. You need to practice the soft skills in life. I have already told you that these are not restricted to your education or your professional career, but soft skills are actually life skills. So it helps you achieve better in your life as well. So here I have given certain references. You can go to those websites and you can read more on the topics that we have already discussed about soft skills. So that is all for today. Thank you, students. Thank you for listening.